I'm going to start with a quote. Very cliche way to start, but here it is. Pay very close attention. The children now love luxury. They have bad manners, contempt for authority. They show disrespect for elders and love chatter in place of exercise. Children are now tyrants, not the servants of their households. They no longer rise when elders enter the room. They contradict their parents, chatter before company, gobble up their food at the table, cross their legs, and tyrannize their teachers. You've got 20 seconds to have a think about when that quote was first said. You can have a quick guess, have a quick chat with whoever's sitting beside you. All right, done. Stand up if you can. Sit down if you said anything in the year 2000s. Sit down if you said anything in the 1900s. Sit down if you said anything from AD onwards, from the year 0. I wasn't sure where that was going to go. So, I'll give a prize in a second. That quote, evidence suggests that quote was said by Socrates in about the year 400 BC. Who thinks they were closest? Who? Eric, what did you have, mate?
1800.
Cool. So I love that quote for a few reasons. First of all, because it's a parent's quote, so I think it's very relevant for why we're here today. And it's a good reminder for me as a parent with my 2 kids that, you know what, none of this is new. Kids have been playing up for thousands of years. The same thing is going on. Nothing is new. It's different. It's different in terms of how they play up and what they do. And when my 6-year-old gets in the car in the morning and she starts playing on one of the old mobile phones that are lying around the house, I go, oh, geez, what's going on? I'm so not ready for 16-year-old problems. Quite happy with 6-year-old problems. But the second reason I love it is that I think it's emotional and it pulls on a heartstring somewhere, especially when you find out and realise where it came from. Other people have said it could have been attributed to Plato or Xenophon, but some even suggesting it was crafted by student Kenneth John Freeman for his Cambridge dissertation published in 1907. Either way, the quote is old and it stirs a bit of emotion. And I think that's what good marketing does. It stirs emotion. And so when I talk to my clients and my friends and what I help them do with different campaigns is I talk about emotion and being real and being authentic because people like people. There's a reason so Flex is reasonably brand new, and I'll get to my background in a minute. But when I first started and launched it this year in January, it was just the Flex logo on my website, on my Facebook, on Instagram, and so on. And I've changed it now to be a picture of me with the logo a bit down at the bottom, on the theme that people like to see people. And I think everyone will agree, not to use the term fake news, but I think there's a great deal of lack of authenticity that goes on in the world, especially online. And as much as you want to deliver your best brand, your best marketing, your best version of you online, I think realism is where it's at. The last thing I did for a client today was post a pretty candid photo. It's a recovery centre, and then him just talking to one of his ambassadors in the pool on the side. And it's a real candid photo. And we're not trying to overemphasize, we're not trying to be something that we're not. And that's where it comes back to realism. And that's what I really love about that quote. Last week, I published a blog. So I do a fortnightly newsletter as part of my marketing campaign. And I spoke about that advertising is not marketing. There's a very big difference. So advertising might be, and I apologise if there's any real estate agents here. I have real estate agents as clients. But a DL in your letterbox from a real estate agent is advertising. Here's what I do. Get in touch. Marketing, I believe, is a bit different. It's telling a story. Here's who I am, here's what I believe, and here's how I can help. And whether you do that through video with somebody like Rachel or myself, but Rachel's very, very good at her craft, whether you do it through graphic design, through someone like Karen, whether you go to the nth degree and really want to provide that structure around your business with Paula or Jasmine, I think if it all ties back into telling a story and being real and being authentic across whatever platform there is. So on that point, I'm hoping to challenge your idea of marketing a little bit and what it is, and that it doesn't just start and stop. There is no line about where marketing starts and where it stops. I believe everything you do all the time is marketing. And I'm going to stuff this up, and it's going to prove my point. Nikki, Rob, and Beck. Got it. So, not impressive, because this morning, I was just saying to them before, I was doing some work for a PT client, and I kid you not, I rocked up, and there were 30 people lined up. And Chris at the start got there and went, George, Eric, Gabrielle, bang, bang, bang. I was like, there's no way he's going to do this. And he went through the whole lot and didn't miss a beat. And it's not like he has just that one class week after week, whatever. He's got hundreds of members, and it blew me away that's marketing. Like, it's good. I think Nikki said it's good. It's good business sense, but it shows how in tune Chris is with marketing across everything. So part of your execution plan needs to be all the time, in person, online, on flyers. How you interact with people is marketing. So being real and authentic is in person is part of that. Gone way ahead. That's why I hate having notes. So I'd like you to write down on your phone or a pen and paper if you got it, 2 ways that you promote your business. 1 way is advertising, 1 way is marketing. I'm not saying that advertising is bad, because it needs to be done. But very quickly, write it down. There are stress balls up for grabs. Caitlin. Oh, I'm going to use you an example in a minute. Go on.
So advertising my card in the letterbox.
Yep.
Marketing a blog on indoor plants.
Cool. Ready? Yes, got it. Nice work. Good catch. I caught up with Coffee for Caitlin the other week, and I gave her a few ideas about her business. Said, look, do what you want to do, but this is how I would do it. But Caitlin had a really nice, nifty logo, and I'd say, I'd make it a picture of you. And it's your idea and your inspiration. So when you turn up, and this is an execution of marketing, when Caitlin turns up to give you great advice on your garden, your landscaping, your lawn, it's, oh, I know her. Like, it becomes so much more personable. And that's an execution strategy. Gabrielle, your business is brand new. So this is a tough one for you. And I'm only picking on you because we know each other for a while. Advertising, marketing, did you have any?
I'm just now doing social media, just putting what I do in my life, and like you say, like my brand is more like showing that I'm doing what I'm selling as well. You know, like you need to, like you have to be that person, because that's the only way that people is gonna trust you. Like I always say, like if you are a dietitian, but you don't look healthy, people is gonna say, why I'm here? For example, you know, like why I'm here? So that's what I'm trying to do. Like I am my brand, you know. So I have to do that. That's what I'm doing now.
So Gabriel and I were talking before, and he's doing a really good job of storytelling and of marketing, and he's about to start promoting and selling his course. Is that right?
Yeah.
Cool. And so there'll be different ways that he advertises that through a Facebook ad or through an Instagram ad. Or it could be really old school, as much as I said that I'm not a fan, but it could be picking a place and going around and going, hey people in Oxley, hey people in Darra on a flyer. That could be one of those ways. Cool. Next activity. If your business, and it may be you, so this will be very easy if it is, but if your business was a person, what are their 3 trademarks? If your business, and that's dovetailing a little bit on what Jasmine was talking about before about having a mission statement. What are the 3 trademarks if your business was a person? For me, it's energy, capacity, and value. Those are my trademarks. So 30 seconds, write down your 3 trademarks if your business was a person. And you know where this is going. I'm going to ask for a volunteer to share. Just one.
I've got empathic, knowledgeable, and approachable.
Empathetic, knowledgeable.
Oh, yeah. And knowledgeable and approachable.
And approachable. Do you think so when you're on Facebook or when you're doing a newsletter or when you're in person, do you feel you're always betraying those?
Most of the time.
So sometimes, like, people have, I got recommended a book the other day called The Alter Ego, and the author's name escapes me. But the example I was given that before Beyonce goes on stage, she's not Beyonce, she tells that, does anyone know this story? That is it Sasha Fierce? That she's an alter ego. So it may be before you get out the car to go meet a client, or before you write a newsletter, or before you write a blog, or whatever it is, you've got something to trigger that in you. Really left field story. There's a UFC camp, training camp. Really weird story. And when they get into the ring or into the octagon before they start, they hurt themselves. So they'll pinch themselves, and that's their light to switch on to go, okay, we're on. This is it. So there's a point in time. Cool. I think we're 3 for 3 across that. So when it comes to executing, I'd like you to layer all of those across the different areas. And I'll go back to what I said at the start, that marketing is all the time. There is no start and stop. So it can be on digital and social, and it might be through videos, photos, Facebook, Insta, LinkedIn, Twitter. Is anyone on TikTok? I'm an avid consumer, but not on it. That's a whole other conversation. We could be here for hours talking about, going deep on the different execution strategies. For me, I can't do them all. It's just going to spread me too thin. So I'm not on Twitter as Flex. And I think going back to what Jasmine and Paula said before around finding your target audience, finding a niche and saying, this is how I can serve you. And I think that's a mindset change as well. And it's something that's helped me starting out, as opposed to, charging for my services, having a mindset change of, this is how I can serve you. This is how I can help you. So digital and social, I said before, I do a fortnightly blog, and I tell people that I don't even mind if people don't read it. So I go back to my MailChimp and I look at my open rates, but even knowing that my name still pops up in their inbox, and they've still got to take a moment of their day to go, delete. But they still see my name, and I'm absolutely certain that I've had clients that I've done a little bit of work for. It might be changing colours on an existing logo, and then 2 or 3 blogs later, they see my name come and go, Brent's due to come out and do another video for me, because it just triggers something. So that's an execution strategy. Newsletter, flyers, depending on the type of work that you do, and then in-person networking, going to different events, reaching out when somebody tags you in a Facebook post, taking time to look at it, follow up. This looks interesting. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then here we are. I've probably taken up my full 10, 15. Very quickly, in a nutshell, prior to having Flex, I was the media and comms advisor for Milton Dick, who's the local federal member for the area. So I spent 4 years working for him in media and communications. And again, could spend hours talking about the wonderful world of politics, which is a crazy, crazy world. If you think it's bad from what you see on TV, wait till you peek behind the curtain. But putting your political preferences aside, what I learned from watching Milton very closely, going to hundreds of events with him, doing videos for him, his website, his Facebook, and how he interacts. When we went somewhere, the focus was always on the other person. And even if they asked him stuff, he was very quick to, acknowledge that, and then just flip it straight back around. As an execution strategy, I think when you're writing a newsletter or doing a Facebook post or an ad or an Instagram or whatever it is, being able to focus your attention on who's consuming the product. Make them feel important. The photo that I put up of the ambassador in the pool and the owner of the sports centre this afternoon was, hey, hanging out with Kieran, our ambassador, sharing a laugh. Hope you all have a great weekend, everybody. And then signed off with his name. It's me posting, but because at the end of it, it still becomes about whoever's consuming it. So trying to make it about the person who's seeing it. The last thing I'll say, another quick little story or how I think about doing things. There's a great clip called Will's Wisdom on YouTube. Has anyone seen that? Gabrielle, that's right up your alley for what you do. I go back and watch it regularly just to remind myself about it. And there's a story in there, and he's talking about that one summer, winter, his dad, when they were kids, made them tear down a brick wall and said, okay, it's your job to rebuild it. Tore down a whole brick wall. And the principle that his dad was trying to instill in him is that, and it's hard to try to do Will's accent at the same time, but he goes, you don't set out to build the biggest, baddest wall. What you do is lay this brick as perfectly as a brick can be laid. And you do that over and over and over, and then soon you have a wall. So across your marketing strategies, your execution across different platforms, lay that brick as perfectly as a brick can be laid, and soon you will have a big wall for your business. Thank you very much.